All right, everybody, it is that time. I want to make sure that we're all good here. A little change of scenery and welcome. Hey, Doris, how are you? Hey, Leslie, how are you? We have such an amazing show here tonight. All right, BJ McCleve. Okay, so I think you're friends or related to, hey, J Love, the Love Gangster, Deb Hanson, I'm sorry. Deb, it's so great to see you. I feel like it's been forever. Leslie, thank you for joining us. Amanda, woohoo! Yay, Brianna, you are here. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right into it. Your sisters, awesome. Love sisters. Actually, my sister's name is Brianna, believe it or not. And she is an amazing empathic soul in her own right. And her medium actually happens to be photography. So Brianna is a genius. So I'm just going to invite you on, Brianna. All right. Brianna, give me just a second. You. So I hope in just a second, did you get your notification? We're going to bring you on. I believe that tonight is going to be exceptionally powerful because of all the service disruption that we had last week. So I am claiming that this evening is going to be absolutely amazing. And so Brianna is on standby. So I sent you an invitation, Brianna, to connect. Amanda, thank you so much for the connection. Everyone at Inner Glow Circles, if you don't know what that is, it's a coach training program. And it literally brings in women from all over the world, from all walks of life, who want to make a significant impact in the world with their business. So they are conscious social entrepreneurs. Hey, yay!
I'm so excited too. I had to flip my phone. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
all these rules, all these rules.
Yes, all these things to it, right?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to finally connect with you. You are beautiful.
Well, thank you. So are you.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, total fox.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes. And my sister's name is Brianna, so I took it as a good omen because my baby sister's name is Brianna. So I was like, okay, she must be a genius.
It's a good name. It's a good, strong name. Yes.
It is a good, strong name. It's like a very warrior goddess, Brianna. Yeah,
yes.
It's very,
It's actually Irish.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So I'm just very, very excited to have you on. So shout out to everyone on the timeline. This is going to be an action-packed conversation. I can guarantee it. I feel it. She's already got the chakras to her immediate. Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was playing with my bowl before I got on. I'm just in the zone.
In the zone.
Zone. Yes.
Yeah. So we're all about it. So make sure, ladies and gents, on your timeline, make sure you tag a friend, especially your empathic brothers and sisters, because these are very important conversations that we're having right now. And so I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it. So Brianna, I'm sure you've been feeling like the super intense energy of the planet right now.
Oh my gosh. We survived the 2019 empath wave that we had to go through, that whole transition. Yeah. Everybody has been feeling it. I had a neighbor stop me on the side of the road. She's like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "It's okay. You're not crazy." And I feel like I feel like I have to tell that to a lot of empaths. You're not crazy. You're just sensitive, right? Yes.
Yes. And so with this energy, I feel that it's also part of a waking up and a summoning.
Yeah. Totally, it is.
Yeah.
Well, and we have Mercury retrograde too, as well, right?
Yeah.
So we have all of these things surfacing up for healing, right? Deep within us.
Come on, healer.
We have to. Right.
Yep. Yeah. Come on, healer.
But the problem is as you know, you don't even have to be an empath to feel this energy, right? And there's stuff that we have to heal, and we're not paying attention to it. We're just stuffing that stuff under the rug.
Yeah.
But
let's talk about collective healing.
Yes.
Yeah. So share with us, your awakening, process. And of course, I know that it is long and arduous, and I'm sure at many points painful. But look at you. You look amazing on the other side of
Thank
it.
you.
So if you can share with us your awakening process, because I know everybody has something different, but there's still kind of things that are a little bit the same.
Oh, totally. So I actually struggled with addiction for numerous years. I love that.
Seriously.
I love that. Yes. And so it was kind of like the dark night of the soul, right? Is what they call it. That's right. So I struggled with those addictions for many years. I mean, like on an everyday basis use I was using. So I had to get to a point where I was tired of suffering, right? It comes with that conscious choice. And I was homeless. I had no money to my name. And I had a very deep conversation with God. And I still get a little emotional about it because it's all through him. It is all through him that my story, my everything has led me to where I'm at today, the people I serve, the people I help, right? So it was through him that I was able to get through the addictions. And I just remember having a conversation with him, just being at my last wit's end and saying, help me. I don't know what this looks like. Just help me.
Yeah.
And he said, just do your part and I'll do the rest. So it was a minute by minute conscious decision. Like every single minute of the day, I had to consciously choose something different, to think something different, to feel something different, even on the days I didn't want to feel anything, right? Because we go through this period of numbing, right? Where we don't want to deal. Yeah, right?
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm here. Look, I'm so here for it. Oh, I'm so here for it.
Yeah. So I understand what it feels like to struggle mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. I know what it feels like to be spiritually bankrupt, right? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Should I get my tissues out right here?
Because we can.
You like that?
Virtual.
Yeah.
Yeah. So honestly, when you say spiritually bankrupt, that reminds me of an India.Arie song, and she says, "This too shall pass."
Right.
This too shall pass. And she was saying that, her finances were good, but emotionally and spiritually she was bankrupt. And I think you hit it right where it matters most. Right. Is that we self-medicate. Yes. And for you, it might have been drugs and alcohol, but for others of us, maybe it's shopping, maybe it's toxic relationships that help us to sidestep our purpose.
Yes, absolutely. And we just shut off.
But you leaned in. Yeah.
I leaned in. And collectively, that's just kind of what we're programmed to do, right? Growing up, and that's conditional from our parents too. It's like, when you're crying as a child, your parents console you, but they're like, here, just don't cry, right? Don't feel the feelings. We don't want to step into the feelings. Right? We just want to push the feelings away because in society, being vulnerable and emotional is frowned upon, right? We don't want to be vulnerable.
Yes. No, we do not.
Right?
Yeah. And then there's something wrong with you if you cry, especially publicly. If we show public displays of emotion, it's like, oh my God, what's wrong with it?
What's wrong with you? Yeah.
Right.
Get it
there's
together.
There's no crying in baseball. Like, what are we looking with? And it's funny, I wrote an article called "There's No Crying in Corporate" because I had a corporate breakdown in front of my boss, and I started crying, and it was like I could run, but I'm not gonna make it before the first one falls, so I have to come. And she just looked at me like, is she crying?
Yeah,
she's crying.
She's crying.
She's
crying, right? She's crying, right? She's crying.
Right. What? Why are you crying? Why are you crying?
Right.
Human.
Human, right? Plus empath too, right? So, and I'm
Plus
sure
empath.
before you even knew about that you were an empath, you were just like, oh my, why am I feeling all of these feelings so intensely, right?
Brianna, yes, and that was the
Yeah,
truth at that time that it happened.
yeah, yeah,
I did not know. So I
right.
just thought I was just sensitive Sally per usual. Here she goes again, Miss Waterworks.
Uh-huh. Oh
Yeah.
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 Yes. Yeah. So I mean, let's get back to that the
Yeah.
point of the collective
The
healing,
collective
right?
healing.
So we've established that we all emotions are bad as per society's point of view,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yep.
it's really having to, in the moments, it was really having to learn how to honor my emotions, and that was
Mm-hmm.
hard because that
Yeah.
comes with a lot of guilt, a lot of shame,
Yep.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
and I ran from it. Like I was horrified that I was even an addict, and I ran from my story for quite some time, right?
Mm.
But I was able to get over the addiction part of it, with the help of God and my family.
Come on.
And yeah, so to anybody that might be on here that's struggling with addiction, you know, I would have to say that you need to surrender to a power higher than yourself.
Come
Yeah.
on, 12 step it.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yep.
12
Yep.
step it. No, I'm serious
Yeah.
because
No.
I've
No.
12 step myself, even though it wasn't necessarily a narcotic or alcohol, but I feel like we can be
Yeah.
addicted to behaviors. And that
Yes.
12 step program works if you work it. So I 12 step myself.
Yes, absolutely. And we have to get out of our own way, right?
Yes.
As
Come on,
human
Brianna.
beings, as human beings, we want to control everything, right? And there is power in surrender. There's power in surrendering your deepest fears to God, right? We have to get out of our own way for that healing to take place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because we
Mm-hmm.
try to
Mm-hmm.
we try to navigate it. We think that we know what's best in
Yes.
our healing
Yes.
journey,
Come on,
right?
Brianna.
Yeah,
Come on,
but
preach this
we
word. Come on. I'm
but
serious because you are speaking
yeah,
to me. And I'm
yeah.
sure you're speaking to a lot of people on this timeline. So,
Oh, good.
oh, I love this. Your friend Jessica, she's saying, I love your light. Brianna,
Oh,
you're amazing. You're such a gift. Proud of you.
oh,
Amanda, speak it. This is so much truth. So
oh,
yeah,
great,
this is resonating. Hey boo,
good,
this is on point. Shout out to Alexis. Hey boo. Yeah, so people
good,
are definitely resonating with with what you're saying.
good.
And I love that you're talking about the surrender because we're also taught you're in control. You get to
Right,
control. Grab a
right,
hold of yourself. Get a
right.
hold of
Get
yourself.
control of your life, right? And so we're like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that, right? But God does.
Yeah.
God
Come on.
does. Yes.
Yeah. And if you
So
go back to the source, the
yes,
maker,
yes. God,
yeah.
spirit, whoever you perceive that
Whoever,
to be,
universe,
whoever,
yeah.
right? Right? For me, it's
Yeah.
God, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for
So,
me too. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I
Yeah.
have a lot of people that, believe in goddess, and that's totally fine. That's, whoever, it's the
Yep.
higher power. That's
Right.
the number one thing I can give to
That's right.
anybody is surrendering and honoring your emotions.
Yes. Because they're given to you for a reason. They're indicators, right? They let you
Right.
know this is off or this is on point or you need to make an adjustment.
Right. Well, our emotions are our greatest opportunities to heal.
Come on.
Because within those emotions, there is self-limiting beliefs. There
Mm-hmm.
is the conditioning as children, believing that we're not good enough, that we're not worthy enough. And sometimes when the trauma is so significant, we get stuck there
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Emotionally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. So you coach empaths.
I do. Yes,
You
absolutely. Because
help
it,
cultivate empaths.
yes. So in this journey of really figuring out my story and healing, God led me to realize I was an empath. And that, I remember it fondly. I'm a physical empath. So I physically.
Say more.
Yes,
more,
yes.
there are
and
many
I don't
types
know.
of empaths.
There is.
I love
yes.
that. So talk about
we
being a
can
physical
talk
empath.
about empath stuff all day long, sister. Okay.
I know, right?
So
yeah, it's my good.
so if anybody's on here and they're empath, if they know what type, put in what type of empath you are. If you're a physical empath.
Yep. So come on, Shalelle, I see you, baby. Go ahead and type the type of empath you are. Because we got emotional empaths, we got psychomantic empaths, we've got animal empaths.
Yes.
So yeah. So shout out all my empaths on the timeline.
Yes.
Put down your type of empath, wave your hand in the air.
Yes, we honor you. Yes, if you have any questions, pop them in here. I'd be happy to help and answer.
So since you're a physical empath, there is a question that I saw scroll through here. Leslie said that she has body aches.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
so what physical empath, you can probably really speak about that.
I can. So I'll tell you a little bit about my journey. So after my addiction, I went through this bout of really feeling stuff in my physical body, and I would go to the doctor. My family would take me to the doctor, and there would be nothing wrong ever. So I got called a hypochondriac. I'm serious. So, and it wasn't, okay, so it was about 29-30 is when I had like my big awakening. I had some medical issues. I had some stuff going on. And at night, I was so scared that I was going to die. And it went on for about a week, and I was visited by angels, and I would feel them caressing my hair. And so that I couldn't take a picture without having a green aura around in my picture, because that was Archangel Raphael. So that really catapulted me to understanding what being a physical empath was. So the body aches that she's experiencing, she needs to remember. And what was her name?
Her name is Leslie.
Leslie.
Was the one that, Leslie referenced the physical.
Perfect. So the best thing, I'm going to just say, Leslie, you are not crazy, sister. Okay. You're not crazy. So you really need to identify your energy to other people's, right? And this can be, so I remember I would go do, have interviews, or I'd have meetings with people, and I would start getting a toothache even before I got into the people's energy. Right? So I was already picking up their physical ailments. So physical, and I feel like physical empaths they kind of have the brunt end of the spectrum, because we feel things physically. And that can be hard. And if you, I mean, and it takes some time to really understand what's going on with you. Right? But as physical empaths, we actually take on people's physical ailments. And what happens, what I discovered, I was a physical empath. They actually can take on people's physical ailments and diseases if they don't learn to clear themselves. And so you'll see a lot of physical empaths be debilitated physically. So I did not want that story for myself. So I had to really jump in and do the work.
Come on,
right?
Talk about the work.
Yeah, the work. Yes. The big things I can give anybody about being an empath and your journey to an empath and your understanding and awareness is learning your own energy. Identifying your own energy, because what happens is, as empaths, we are constantly picking up everybody's energy, right?
Everybody,
all the time. That's what we signed up for, this ride, before we came down to earth. And so what happens is you're constantly collecting. You're constantly
Yeah.
collecting. You're not sending. You're not transmuting. You're not clearing. And so what happens is we start taking on other people's personas. This is why empaths
Come on.
are chameleons, right? We can just adapt to any group in the room,
That's
right?
right.
And over time we start liking the things that they like, and oh yeah, we can switch
Sounding
on
like
and
them.
sounding like them. Yes, absolutely. So then we start identifying with their own energy and emotions, right?
Yep. That's
And
right.
that takes us further and further away from who we truly are.
What
Right?
you said shielding, clearing,
Yes.
blocking,
Yes.
all of those
Yes.
things are so very necessary
Yes.
to get back to yourself. So if you can give us some grounding techniques
Yes.
and some clearing techniques.
Yes. Well, I'm going to I'm going to go back to like how you identify what's your energy and what is
Yes.
not is through meditation.
Yes, ma'am.
Meditation, 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 right? That we really get to be and sit with who we are on a spirit, on a soul level, right? So I can't emphasize meditation enough. There is a process that I do as far as clearing goes, and I step through 3 screen doors. I take myself in a meditative place. I visualize these 3 screen doors. The mesh on the first one is a little bit bigger, and it takes all the residue out of my body when I'm stepping through. The second one is a little bit more tighter, right? And so it takes more and more. But we want to make sure as we are cleansing the energy that we're actually transmuting it back into love, back to source. Because we don't want to put all that garbage back into the universe and the earth, right? We want to that's what we're here to do. We're here to transmute
We're like
that energy.
trees. I think that's the best. We're kind of like trees. Like we
Yeah.
suck in all the kind of icky cookie stuff because we can handle it more so than maybe the average person. And I love the screen doors that you talk about passing through as a filtration piece, and then surrendering it back to God, surrendering it back to light. I visualize either a violet flame or a white light that it goes.
Yes, perfect. I do the violet. Yes.
You like the violet?
Yes.
Yeah,
I like the violet. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to send it back to be transmuted.
Right. So another part of the empath's purpose is we are here to help people heal their stuff. We actually we're the healers, right? And I don't care if you have some kind of title. I have different titles in healing modalities, but it doesn't matter. All of that stuff doesn't matter. What makes you a great healer is being vulnerable and transparent in your story and sharing that, holding that space for other people so they feel like they can be vulnerable with you. Yes.
And we do that naturally. And I'd love for you to, maybe share a story, but I feel that most empaths, I don't know why healing happens at convenience stores or supermarkets, but it seems that people totally find you.
Well, God puts you in their path for a reason, right?
Direct path.
Direct path. And sometimes, and this is I call it the unaware or the unempowered empath, is because half the time we don't know what's going on. We're just in a great mood going to the convenience store, and bam, this person's just telling you all of their stuff. And you're like, all of their stuff. And that's okay. That's part of our.
Oh, I love it. But I mean, I don't take it for granted. And it's like, wow, like you trust me that much to share with me things that you have never told anyone before in your life.
Yes.
People that, you have family members and you may or may not have a therapist, but you feel more comfortable sharing with me than anyone in the world right now.
Right. It's such a special gift. Yes. Yes, absolutely. So, and so they tell you all of these deep, dark, hidden emotions, suppressed emotions, because empaths act as mirrors to other people. We are triggering the emotions that need to be healed within other people.
Yeah.
We are the mirrors. So, but for the unaware empath, they get so drained, right? They can leave the store and be like, why in the blue blazes am I so tired, right? And I'm going to give you some tips on how I can tell when my shield is not up. I went grocery shopping the other day, right? And I was just happy-go-lucky before I went in there. And as soon as I got in there, I was agitated. And as a physical empath, I actually take on energy through my third eye and my solar plexus, right? That's kind of where most empaths take on the energy. But I got home and I this is how I can tell when I take on people's energy is I start yawning. Uncontrollably yawning.
Yes. I shared that with a client of mine. I said, pay attention to who you yawn around.
Yes. Because what we're doing is we're trying to release that energy. And if for all of the empaths that actually practice healing modalities such as Reiki or IET or any healing modality, when you're with a client, and we call it prana breathing, right? We're actually releasing for our clients. So, but we don't want to take on their stuff, right? So that's a good indicator when I'm taking on somebody's energy too much. So then I just have to step back, I have to clear, and I have to shield, right? And that's what I do. Very important.
Yes, so very important. Because for Leslie, she's saying it's showing up as lower back pain, knees, shoulder, elbow, fingers, serious. And that can be chronic.
It can be chronic. Let's not, I mean, there's no way of deciding until she really gets in tune with her body, right? But also we have these beautiful chakra centers, right? Okay, so let's talk about those a little bit. So in her lower back, it could be fear that there could be some underlying fear.
Come on, talk about it. Come on, Brianna.
But I understand.
You can heal your life.
Yes, you can heal your life, sister. Yes. But you have to like be aware of it, you know, and I know this all too well. I know this story all too well. And I'm just going to share a story here on, you know, how I learned about the chakra centers and how important they are. And that's our energy centers. So as empaths, we need to learn these centers. I would highly recommend learning these centers. So I'm going to just share a little story with you because I feel compelled to share the story. So last week we had all of the energy going. Facebook went down crazy. And
yes, because we were trying so hard.
And I'm gonna be vulnerable, transparent here, okay? So I was a little bit scared to get on Facebook, right? So I was like a little bit scared to share my story. This is like the first time I'm doing this. And yeah, with you. Yes. And this, I know, and this is just to validate you and the work that you're doing. I just love the work you're doing. It's hard. It's hard as an empath, but when you start breaking through those barriers, you need some help taking your message out into the world. And you are so powerful in doing that. And so how ironic is my first Facebook debut with an interview, and it's you. Yes. Okay.
And I'm so grateful. I'm so very grateful that you decided to do this with me, because public speaking, Facebook Live, it can be very scary.
Well, yeah. Especially for an empath. For an empath, that's where we struggle. We don't we're introverts. We don't really like to be out in public, and it's hard. And we get exhausted just even thinking about it. So we
can we talk about the mental, because you can get stuck in your own, vortex, your own, So I love that you are introducing, maybe to some, the chakra system, and I love that you got these visuals up there for us. So if you could kind of like take us through our chakras.
Sure. So we have our root chakra where, and that's the red, right? And that's where Leslie is having some aches and pains. So what I would suggest to her, is there any fear that's coming up for you? Is there any fear of finances? So the chakras, the root chakra has to do with our stability, how we ground into this earth, right? So I would ask her to look at that. So, and if it's a constant problem, then we have our sacral chakra, and that has to do with our womb space for the women, our creativity. I'm doing a lot, and I saw that you're doing some work on that, and I love that, because I'm starting to dive into that whole womb healing for women. And you don't even have to be a female. This works for men too. Men have that womb space as well, right?
Yes, they do. Well, it's the womb of consciousness. It's where we birth our ideas. It's the womb of consciousness. And even if you're a woman and you cannot have children, your womb is still active because it's your consciousness.
That's right. Absolutely beautiful. I love that you're doing that.
Girl, we're going to have to tag team. We have to tag team this again. Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
I'll live for you, Brianna.
I did too.
I'll live for you.
Listen, we're gonna do some good stuff in the future.
Yes, ma'am.
Feel it. I feel it. Yes. So let's go back to the solar plexus. The solar plexus. This is where empaths, this is where you probably are dealing with a lot of empaths, because they're stuck in their fear, their power center, right? They've done the work, they feel all the feelings, right? Now it's getting them out into the world. Our solar plexus has to do with our fears, right? And our power center, right? So, and then we have our heart space. This is our heart chakra, the green. I don't know if you can see all of them. Probably not. I'll have to do a little this. Right? Yes. So then we have our heart chakra, and that is our connection to spirit. That's my favorite chakra. Me too. Because empath, we feel it. We feel it here. That's where we're at as being an empath. That's where we feel the feelings, is in our heart space, right? That's our connection to spirit. That's actually where I talk to God, is in my heart space. I am. Since I was a little kid, I would pray, and I tell, especially empaths, when I'm talking to God or I'm asking for something, I'll ask him to let me feel peace within my heart space. If it's a yes, and if it's a no, he'll move that energy down into my sacral or my root chakra.
Yes, ma'am. I know that to be true. Yeah, I know that to be true. Very much so.
Yes.
Very much so.
So that's a good tip to really understanding energy, because there's this whole process. Okay, I'm an empath, but now how do I perceive the energy? And that's a good tool for somebody to have, to practice, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know if all of your listeners or followers know anything about the chakras, but then we have the throat chakra, and that's the blue one.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Yes.
That's a powerful one.
Right. And it's about speaking our truth, right? I always tell my clients and my students, whenever I feel like they have throat chakra issues, I always ask them, it's like when you get into an argument with somebody and you're not expressing your truth, and then there's this tightness around your throat.
Yep.
You can always tell when you are not speaking your truth, because your throat chakra will get tight, right?
Yep.
So
Indeed.
that's it. That's expressing our throat chakra. Then we have our third eye. And our third eye is probably one of my favorites because that is trusting our intuition. What's going on with you over there, sister?
My phone is trying to die, and I wanted to make sure that we're powered up so that we don't
die. Don't die, please.
We fought too hard to get to where we are. So I'm sorry if I look a little distorted. I'm going to turn myself so that we can continue to get a good. Okay, there we are.
There you are. Okay, good.
There we are. Yep.
So the third eye is dealing with your intuition and trusting what you're getting.
That's right.
It's kind of like going down the road and you get this sight that maybe I shouldn't go down this path or this road, and then you don't listen and you go down the other road and you get a flat tire, right? It's really just listening to your intuition, and the more,
yeah,
yeah. Yep. Can you relate to that?
Ooh, because I'm gonna tell you, every time that I've ignored it, a world of trouble. Every time I've ignored it, and you know, that was one of my mother's biggest lessons or tips for me was always go with your first mind. I love that. Was go with your first mind, and so I think that is akin to the third eye because it's here in your head space.
That's right.
Go with your first mind, and every time I ignored that or felt the overextension, which empaths can do. Overextend.
Right. Well, we do. And then we try to give people the benefit of the doubt sometimes when you're getting that, like, I just don't trust the vibes here. I just don't feel it. And we're like, no, it's okay. It's okay. It'll be okay. And then it ends up not being okay. And then you regret it.
Because you didn't listen.
Because you didn't listen. That's right. So that's what the third eye is about. And then we have our crown chakra. We have more chakras, above, and we have an earth chakra as well. So let me pop it up. So our crown chakra is the very top one, and that has to do with our connection with the divine. I feel like people, when they struggle with guilt, that blocks them off from their connection with the God source, right?
Yes.
Or Christ consciousness. And the guilt is blocking them from experiencing that. So going back to Leslie, if she can learn the chakra systems, and I don't know if she knows the chakra systems, but as an
I'll
empath,
drop info. I'll drop info into the group. So for those of us who are on the timeline, Brianna's in our group, the Be Intentional with Ber-Henda Williams. Brianna's there. So if you have any additional questions, you can reach out to her directly, of course, but she is active in our group. She gives great information, and I'll drop, some chakra, I guess, like 101.
Right.
Stuff
right. Good. Because this is so important to learn as empaths, because this is where we're looking at the energy. We're relating it to, experiences. Is it my stuff that I'm carrying, or is it somebody else's stuff that I'm carrying? Because we can carry people's stuff, but these are the energy centers of the body, right? This is where we're holding everything. So it's important to learn that as an empath.
So very, very important. So I love that you took us through the chakras. So, Brianna, literally, I could talk to you all night, and you've given us, I think, some really great jewels. And so I have a couple questions here on the timeline, one of which is about, this one came from Jessica Drake, who says, so she says, I find in stores or public spaces, it'll even be that I take on emotional energies without even talking to others. Thank you for sharing. Suddenly, I'll go from happy to extremely sad or upset, and I'll need to transmute. What does it mean if shields don't seem to work? I find perhaps my shield doesn't work for some reason due to the higher calling of healing others.
Okay. And I can totally relate to this, but shields work if you believe that shields work. If you have a fear, and I understand this all too well, being a physical empath, I went through that whole thing of, it doesn't work. Shields work when you give them power to work. It is the intention to work and believing that they work. period.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And not being scared,
Yeah.
because that's what we do as empaths. We're scared. We're like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm an empath now, and oh my gosh, I'm taking on this energy, and
Yeah.
I would have to caution, you know, some of the listeners here today. There's a lot of empath groups, and there's this stigma around negativity about being an empath, and people get into the victimhood of being an empath, and they stay
this is a
there.
curse. I
Yes,
don't want to deal with
do this.
this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please, empaths, that's not your purpose here. You are supposed to
Nope.
be empowered. We are the light workers. We're supposed to help heal this planet. It is up to you. And I'm going to tell you one thing. Once you start learning who you are as an empath, God is going to bring you all the other empaths to help.
Amen.
Just like Ber-Henda, just like me, I didn't know that was going to be a part of my path, right? But now I teach other empaths to understand their gift. So the one thing if I can emphasize anything, is please do not get stuck in that stigma of it's such a curse. I don't want to deal with people's society. So you become a hermit.
Yes.
That's not empowering you. Yes, it's not empowering yourself.
It's not.
So,
and it's not serving the people that you've been called to serve.
That's right.
Because especially in the visionary aspect, and that's the work that I do in the visionary aspect, you have a charge.
Yeah.
So you have specific areas in which you're to serve. And so hiding, you're not getting to the people that you're to bless.
That's right.
If you're hiding. And as the visionary empath, you know, it could be an elderly person, it could be the trees, it could be children, it could be any. So that's really up to you to tune in to find out who you're here to serve. But they're waiting on you.
That's right.
Dear heart, they are waiting on you.
And you have to remember, you signed up for this.
That's right.
Before you came down here. And we are just, we go through this veil of not remembering, but it is our purpose to remember. And deep down within your soul, you feel that.
That's
right. You feel it on a soul level. You know the words I'm speaking is true. Do not fall for the victimhood.
That's
because you can.
And you have to
know. You can stay stuck there for a long time.
Yeah, and I think it's really important for people to understand, and whether you're empath or not, this is the truth. And even when I have my own moments, like, oh my God, why am I doing this? What's wrong with me? I want it. I'm like,
I know.
And I have to tell myself this truth. God loves me.
That's right.
I'm God's favorite.
I
am the apple of God's eye.
That's right.
God is in love with me. So there is no way that as God's, child of the Most High, that I would ever fall by the wayside, that I would be forsaken. Never.
Right. You're right. Ever.
No matter what the outside appearances may look like. He walks with me.
That's right. That's right.
And God is walking with you.
That's right. And everybody else here. Doesn't matter if you're an empath or not.
That's right.
It doesn't matter, right? We're here to learn. We're here to heal our emotions, grow through our experiences, and then help others see their own potential and healing. We're supposed to help others who are suffering, being of service to other people. Your story, it doesn't matter if you struggled with addiction like I did, or whatever you experience, your job, your
Brianna,
part of
you about
your
to make
purpose.
Me start shouting. I'm about to take this thing to the church, because I was trying to fight it, and I was like, this girl is stirring my soul. Ma'am, you about to look. Is there one today? Because you about to, ma'am, because you are preaching. Do you hear on this timeline? Do you hear me? You are preaching on this timeline. And that's what folks got to understand, that you have been called, okay? You have been chosen, and your story, and that's the trick of your adversarial mind, is to think that you have done something so egregious that God will ever stop loving you.
That's right. That's right.
You can never do anything to be unloved.
And there is so much power in forgiveness, not only for yourself, but forgiveness to others. And that forgiveness will set you free.
See,
always.
Brianna, I knew it was coming, Lord Jesus. Here it comes. I gotta get them. I'm looking.
What you got, girl? Yes, yep, I know. Here, I'll do a little one with you.
Yeah.
It's the empath in us.
It's the empath. Because Brianna, honest to goodness, like, so many people go around this world feeling that they are unloved and they are unlovable because they made a mistake, or they were addicted, or they walked out on something that they weren't strong enough. They judge themselves and they keep themselves in this perpetual state of purgatory because they feel like they can't be forgiven. Right. And the empath has the ability, I feel, to go deeper and to remind you back to your whole self, your divine self, really who you are. That's right. And this world does things to constantly tear you down and make you feel like you don't matter and you're not important. And so, yes, that's why we get stopped in CVS or Rite Aid or the grocery store, because people need some sort of church, if you will, because we are the physical manifestations of holy temples. And this goes beyond religion. We're the sacred space. We're the hospitals. We're the emotional hospitals for people.
That's right. Absolutely right. So why not, knowing this and hearing your testimony in that, and that was powerful, right? And for all those, your followers and the women and the men, the empaths that you help, it's time. It is time to start living your purpose, understanding your purpose. Even if you're not an empath, or even if you're not, we're just going to say, even if you're not, you have, it doesn't matter. You have purpose. Your story has validity. It has so much power. We have to get out of our own way and our own Nikes. I was going to cuss there, but you know what I mean.
It's okay. Look, I know exactly what you mean.
We have to get out of our own way. We have to go back and think about all of those self-limiting beliefs. And I'm going to tell you one thing, and I hope this helps your followers. I'm going to go back to my story about living in this fear, right? You can ask anybody that was around me that week, last week. I was scared. I was so scared. And the day of, we were supposed to do my interview, I was kicking around like a little kid. I am being total transparent and vulnerable here because I know somebody will need to hear this, okay? So I am kicking and I'm screaming. I am scared because there is something within me that's saying, I am not worthy enough. I am not good enough to be seen. And I have a little joke that I totally shut down Facebook with my fear that day. I totally do. And it's just a little inside joke. But I was thankful because over the weekend, I had to really look at those self-limiting beliefs. I had to really look at that story I was telling myself, and I had to trace it back to my 8-year-old self.
Come on.
My 8-year-old self felt stuck. The first time she ever went into a crowd, she felt stuck. She felt like she wasn't worthy enough. And I had to go back. And she was a little stubborn shit. Excuse my language at first. I love her. But I had to go back and I had to be the parent to her and let her know you are worthy. What you have to say has purpose. It will help somebody. It is okay. You are safe. You're safe. And there was such a shift. And here we are on Tuesday. And I'm showing up. All of that dissipated. And if you get really committed on your healing journey, that's right, it will require you to look at the deepest parts of yourself.
That's right.
And figuring out where those self-limiting beliefs came from.
That's right. That's right. That's
because I believe that my purpose has a bigger meaning than myself. I was not going to allow myself to be stuck, because that's where half of the human race gets stuck. Once they feel that fear and being uncomfortable, they stay there.
They stay there. Yeah. And that's why we have wars and separation and, you know, racial tensions, gender biases, because your fear has been triggered.
That's right. That's right. But your fears, your emotions are your biggest opportunities to grow. If you want to be, when you start leveling up, you see the vision, right? How you deal with visionary people. You have this vision and you want to level up. It is going to require a different version of yourself.
God cannot do to you what he cannot do through you. Michael Beckwith.
Oh, good, sister.
When you said that yes, he can't do it unless you allow and surrender.
That's right.
And regressing back to your 8-year-old self, that regression work, because of course we can't go back to the past, but we can still send energy and we can still address, and you can talk to her and she can talk back to you, because we're limitless in terms of space and time. So you can talk to your past self, you can talk to your future self.
That's right. You absolutely can. And you can talk to other people's higher self. You talk about forgiveness. That's right.
Especially when you can't directly talk to that person, I'm going to say talk to their higher self.
That's right. Absolutely. I teach my client or my students in meditation class this, and we will hold meditations based on forgiveness and speaking to the other person's higher self. And I promise you, if you do that work and you show up in forgiveness and love,
come on,
the most strangest thing will happen. You'll get a phone call out of the blue from the person, just out of the blue. The healing will take place. I promise
because
you
it has to.
It has to. Because what we're doing, we're bypassing our egos.
That's
right. Our egos are what separate us.
That's right.
And when we're having conflict with other people, it's all of those self-limiting beliefs, the stories that they've been told, their experiences that keep them blocked from leaning into love. Right. And so when we meet with people's higher selves, we're Xing out the ego and coming in pure love.
That's right. That's right. And that's our essence. And that's, you know, anyone on this line, I want you to remember, you are love.
That's right.
That's the stuff that made you. You were made out of pure, unconditional, sweet, saving, beautiful love.
That's right. Absolutely.
And you can call it whatever name that you like. But your essence is love.
That's right. So be love.
That's right.
Embody love.
That's right.
If you want to, you know, have a conversation or you want to diffuse a situation, get into that embodiment of love first.
That's right. That's
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you have to, it doesn't make you a coward, and it doesn't mean that you're condoning even the bad behavior, but you're choosing to walk higher, and you have to.
Well, and here's the thing, it's understanding that people only understand from their level of perception. You don't know what people have gone through. You don't know the stories that are playing in their mind, in their subconscious mind. You don't know.
Come on, talk about it.
Yes. So every day, and especially as empaths, we're dealing with people, right? We're mirroring, right? We're holding space for these people and their story. But people don't understand or I should say people only understand from their level of perception, their experiences. You don't know if there's something that's saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable enough, right? I'm not worthy. Those are all going on simultaneously, right? And you're trying to battle that. And you can never get through
Mm-mm.
if you come in the same energy, in the same vibration, right?
That's right.
Yes.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. And so as you said, meditation is that very powerful tool. If you are on our timeline, if you can get a Tibetan singing bowl, I'll put an image of it in the group so
Yeah.
that you can see what that looks like. A bell,
Yeah.
but it helps
Yes.
to clear the air and recharge it.
Yes.
It's a natural
Absolutely.
diffuser. So ringing that bell, and I mean, in many spiritual centers, you'll see in cathedrals, there's a reason why we're ringing the bell, because we're trying to
Mm.
bring this usher the spirit in. You can see it in mosques. You can see that when there is a horn or there's a sound,
Yes.
those sounds are there for a reason, because it's bringing us back to our awareness, bringing us back to God when we hear those big clarion calls.
Absolutely. So I have crystal healing bowls. That's what I have. And I
Oh,
have,
ma'am, yes,
yes. And so, but
yes.
I have Tibetan bowls, and actually
Mm-hmm.
we're hosting a healing sound therapy class for meditation this week.
Yes.
And
Oh,
so
beautiful.
I'm going to suggest anybody in your area to really dive into those classes. There,
Yes, we do have some here. Yeah,
do
and I'll
you?
make sure that I believe Dr. Rose Moulton, she leads Qigong, and I believe that there's gong ceremony where she,
Mm,
hit, and there's gong meditation.
yes.
At TLC this coming weekend.
Mm.
We had Dr. Diane Fabu. She was one of our guests. She's going to be leading a meditation, and she has the Tibetan singing bowl that she uses to help, again,
Oh,
recharge.
I
So,
love her.
yeah,
She was great. I love the
wasn't she great?
meditation. Oh, I love the meditation she led us through. It was powerful. Yes. If anybody, any of your followers did not catch that, I would highly recommend going and catching
I'll
that.
repost it. Yeah, I'll repost that
Yeah,
one.
because she had some good nuggets in there about
Yes, she did.
meditation, and is so powerful. If I could leave you with anything today, is just learning to have a meditative practice.
Yes. Hmm.
Period. Point blank. That's going to
That's it.
help
That's all she
you.
wrote.
That's
That's all. Yeah, yeah. Because that's it. And I mean, that sets the tone of your day. That helps you to bring back center in case things get you off your square throughout the
That's
day.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And
yeah,
it really helps you hone in on your own spirit, your soul,
yeah.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's how we come back to our center. And that's how we
Yep.
feel as empaths. We're like, okay, well, I really need to see how I really feel. And meditation does that for
Come on.
you,
Come on.
right?
Yeah.
So it in that practice, and it doesn't have, you don't have to be this meditation guru where you're spending 20, 30 minutes, just 5 minutes, just 5 minutes
5 minutes.
a day, making the, setting the intention to do that. That
Yeah.
just helps you come back to your center, right?
That's right. That's
Mm-hmm.
right. So yes,
Yeah.
we are so appreciative of having you on. I knew that it was going to be powerful, because I'm like, all this obstruction that this happening, there's a reason, because this is going to be super powerful, and it definitely was. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for
You're
being a
so welcome.
guest. Yes, thank you so much. And hey, Brandon, so how you doing? Thank you, everybody. So do us a huge favor. Um, Friend Brianna, if you can. Brianna, do you have a business page or website
I
that we
do.
can log on
It
to?
is called, it's called Spiritually Jonesing. And I'm just going to
I
put
love
this,
that.
yeah, it
I
goes with
love
my
that.
past,
Spiritually
right?
Jonesy.
Jonesing,
Mm-hmm.
yes. So I have that. I also travel and I teach this powerful healing modality, and I would love to come to Detroit sometime. But
Yeah, we would love to have
maybe,
you.
maybe not to do that, but I do travel to do that. But check me on Spiritually Jonesing. And then I have some meditations you can go and check out too that might help. And they're on YouTube.
Oh,
And if you,
wonderful.
yes, yes. And so if you just go to Brianna M, Spiritually Jonesing, it'll pull it up. Maybe I can put a little tag in the feed here
Yeah, you
and give
can.
your
Mm-hmm.
followers. Good, good,
Yep,
good,
you
good,
totally
good,
can.
good,
Yeah,
good. There's a couple
yeah,
meditations in there. Yep. Yeah.
yeah. Well, we just love you, and we definitely would love to have you back on. Thank you so much. And your sister says, good job. Good stuff. So
I just love her.
Your sister. Yeah, your sister too. It is so cute.
She is amazing. She is amazing.
Yeah.
And she acted as my mirror, and I'm so grateful for her. So thank you for all of my followers for popping on too. Jessica,
Yes.
Ashley,
Yep.
thank you. Thank you to all your followers. I hope that
Monique,
they
Leslie,
find
thank you.
value in this. Take this with you. Remember that you have purpose. Remember, if you are an empath, you signed up for this. It's time to empower yourself.
That's right.
Get with Ber-Henda. She knows what she's doing. I love your vision. I love your purpose here. You are helping. You're being a light to those. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your light in this world. I honor you, sister.
I had a phone call that came in. Like, yeah,
oh my gosh! Of course.
Our whole time, nobody called.
Listen, we could not.
Done.
We couldn't get through that without Mercury retrograde coming in. Just did that last tail end. So it's okay.
Just a little bit. Yeah, but love you. No, thank you, sister, for the work that you do in the world. And so
yes.
I, want to honor you and thank you for taking your time out and want people to connect with you because I just feel a healed world is a better world.
Absolutely. Amen to that.
Okay.
Amen.
So I want you to have a beautiful evening. So
all right.
Drop links and feel free to tag me in anything that you have.
Yes. Okay.
Anything.
I definitely will do that.
Yeah.
Anything
that you have. Anything. I'm there.
Don't give me that pass because I might start annoying you.
Yeah. No, look, people.
I'll take the pass.
Yes, no, seriously, because people tag. I'm like, I don't like. Do I know you? But no, you can tag me in anything.
Yeah.
I'm so.
I love that because that's
so, ladies. Yeah.
And as knowledge is power, right? Knowledge is power, and the more that you share, this is what people that find their purpose, right, and they have gone through that self-help, right? Now it's time to help others and serve others. So,
that's right.
Are you waving at me?
Yeah, I'm waving at you.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. All right.
No, I'm here for it.
Well, you're frozen on my screen, so
am I? Can you hear me?
I can't see you, so I'm. Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear you. I can totally hear you, but I can't see you.
See me? Okay. So, thank you, Mercury, for holding back as long as you did, so that we didn't have too many technical issues. But you know what? We're here. We're going to show up we're going to hear, and we're going to show up every single week. So, ladies and gents, thank you so much for tuning in. Also, check out. I did just launch an 8-week program for Visionary+Empaths. So, Brianna, if you would honor us maybe by being a guest during our 8 weeks.
Oh, I love that. I would.
Yeah, we would love to have you.
I'm there, sister.
With your insight. So please sign up for the 8-week program. You can inbox me, but I do have information about it in the Be Intentional with Ber-Henda Williams group. I made a posting about that. So if you are ready to take your empathic gift and to create either a business or an enterprise, finally publish that book, share your story because there's so much power in that. I want to help coach and midwife you through that process. And there's other amazing empaths who are on this journey with you. So we only have 10 spots left. This is crazy. So I started out with 12, and before I could even make a public posting, I had people just like,
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. Yeah.
And that's what happens, right? God always provides, right? Sometimes we get stuck in that fear of like nobody's going to show up, right? But God will always provide. The people that need to hear it will be there. Yep.
We'll be there.
Good for you.
Yeah. So we've got some amazing guest speakers lined up. So Brianna's agreed to be one. We have a womb healer that's going to be part. Yep. She's going to show up too to help us do some womb. Yeah. Some deep womb healing, because that's the other part of the empath's work too, is that you're here to break the generational curses. You're here to say, you know what, the buck stops here with us, and you can go back and heal your whole family line. Anything that has happened, you can heal because it does. Energetically, it stops with you. Yep.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
That's
Brianna,
powerful
thank
work.
you.
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
We're getting down
Yes.
and dirty with
You're
it. So
welcome, sister. We'll have
oh
more
my God,
time
I
to
love you
talk.
so
We'll
much.
have more
Yes,
time to
we
talk.
will.
But yes, yes.
So
I
thank you
love you
so much.
too.
And
I
Amanda,
love you
thank you
too.
for connecting me. So I have to thank Amanda for connecting me to you. So yeah.
Yes, isn't she amazing too? We're
Yes, she
actually going to
is.
do a retreat in June, and I would love for you to come to one of our retreats sometimes. And I'd love to
No,
come over there
seriously. So give
to
me
get
some
one of
dates.
your
And I would
classes.
love.
So
Yeah, we can. So we're gonna make that happen, for sure.
we're gonna make it happen.
We're gonna make it happen.
That's right.
So thank you so much for the work that you do in the world, and we'll be in touch.
Oh, you're welcome.